to Purposeful, the podcast where we highlight the leaders, changemakers, and dreamers who are making our world a better place on purpose. I'm your host, Ashley Bernardi, and today we're diving into the powerful story of a woman who embodies service and leadership at every level. My guest today is Stacey Efaw, Executive Director of Selah Freedom, one of the nation's leading nonprofits dedicated to the prevention, rescue, and restoration of survivors of sex trafficking. Stacey has spent over 2 decades transforming nonprofits and strengthening communities, and today she's helping lead the charge against one of the most heartbreaking crises of our time. Stacey, welcome to Purposeful. I'm so honored to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk about you first, Stacey. You've had such an impressive career in nonprofit leadership. Can you share first what inspired you to dedicate your life to service and community impact?
I think it started from childhood. My mom was a psychologist, and my family's a strong Christian family, and we were always taught to help people. So that was just part of my upbringing. It was instilled in me from a young age, and I saw my parents doing that constantly. If anybody was in help, they'd be the ones there to help. So I think it's more in my nature. I had a job in corporate training, which I really liked, but I was the liaison to the nonprofits that our company would pick. And I always was jealous of them, and I wanted to be that nonprofit. So when I had the chance to look for my next position, that's what I went after.
So would you say that was your aha moment when you were in that transition or looking around for a position when you knew, or did you have a moment where you knew that your true calling was in service and in nonprofits?
So I think we're going to talk about it later on, but I did grow up in a military family, and I was overseas as a 16-year-old in Turkey in the 80s. And I remember going there and seeing poverty like I've never seen in my life. I feel like every teenager in America should go to a third world country and really realize what it is like. And I remember wanting to help them so much, but the problem was so big, I didn't know what to do. And I asked my mom if we could, collect food for them. And we did little things for them, but it just made me realize there's so many people hurting that need help. And I really wanted to do that. And it gives me a very fulfilling feeling too, to do that.
Yeah, and we share that in common growing up in a military family. My dad was an Army colonel. So in some ways, I feel that sense of service is a part of my DNA. And I'm curious if you could expand further upon how your upbringing in a military family further shaped your leadership style and the way that you approach work today.
Yeah, I think the military side, and then my mom being a psychologist, it was just all about helping others, serving others. I watched my dad, lead with dignity and respect. They were
Yeah.
very respectful. Um, they were kind of polar opposites. He was a little more of the organized military type, and my mom was more the touchy-feely. So I'm probably somewhere in the middle.
I
But
love that. I think that's me too.
but I think just watching them work with honor and really having pride in our country and, thanking those that serve and, helping others.
Yeah, and I guess as I think of, my dad, I think of quiet leadership too, not
Yes,
proud or boastful, but military service members, they're so humble.
I
And
completely agree.
I learned a lot from watching my dad, even as a kid, about leadership and how he led, just from being quiet and being a listener and being humble.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And calm, staying calm.
And calm. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yes, yes. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about your leadership and vision. But first, I'd love for you to, for listeners who might not be familiar, explain what Selah Freedom does and what makes its approach to combating sex trafficking unique.
Oh, thank So Selah Freedom's mission is to end sex trafficking and bring freedom to the exploited. And we have 3 main approaches that we do with that. The first is prevention. And right now, the average age of someone getting into trafficking is about 12 to 14 years old.
Wow.
So a large part of our program is going into the schools, colleges, working with parents to educate the children, to empower them with knowledge of what to do if they're approached by any adult for any inappropriate relationship. So that's a big part of it there. And then the next part is our respite, helping the survivors that we identify. So we have residential homes, we have homes in the community, but our program is about 2 years long. And we do everything with them from providing basic needs, teaching life skills, a lot of trauma therapy, counseling, and then we go on to helping them identify what do they want to be when they were little? What was their dream for their
Mm,
life? And then we help create that path so they can achieve that. So they may have wanted to go, learn how to do hair or nails, or they may have wanted to go to college. We have a girl who went into equine therapy. It just really
wow.
personalized that path for them, but then give them the chance to do that. And they are just amazing, amazing women and just have gone on to do great things. And then our last part is our consulting. We are training others how to open safe homes. So we've
Wow.
helped over 60 organizations open safe homes around the world. And we feel like instead of us doing it all, we want to equip others with that knowledge, everything we've learned, so that we can help end this epidemic faster.
I'm just so grateful to just hear you speak about this because it's so important. And I think in society, we hear about sex trafficking. And I remember we were on a road trip this summer and had stopped at a rest stop and there were, sex trafficking signs. So like we see it, but then it's almost like you feel removed from it, but we're really not. Like it's
Right.
like, can you talk to us about the like it's here in the United States. It's happening. How prevalent is it?
It's very prevalent. It's happened reported in every zip code so far in the
Mm,
US. So it's pretty much everywhere you're looking. It's
mm,
not as visible nowadays because in the olden day, back before the internet, olden times,
yeah,
um, you would see women or men walking the street as prostitutes. And so you could
right,
visibly see that. Now,
right.
pretty much everything is booked online. Their dates are booked online. They're advertised online. They're sold online. So you don't see it. And they'll just book one hotel room for the day and have dates lined up. Some of our survivors have reported being sold through dates 15 to 40 times in a day. So it's very prevalent. It's not as visible. So when things aren't visible, if it's not in our world, we may just not think it's happening. Mhm.
And, and how, and for, I guess, educate the general public too on what we can do to look out for it. And how do you identify that, well, the prevention and then rescue part, the women who need to be rescued?
The first thing parents can do is get on their kids' phones. Kids hate for me to say this, but 90% of all traffickers' first interaction with the youth is online.
Mm,
And in a recent interview by a trafficker that we asked, I didn't ask, but the interviewer asked, how did you pick your next victim? He said, I would ask them, do your parents get on your phone or your computer? And if the kid said, oh, no, my mom never looks on my phone, he would keep talking to them. But if the kid said,
wow.
oh, yeah, my mom's mean, she's strict, she looks on my phone, he would disconnect. So
Wow.
that simple thing could help save
Wow.
one kid's life. Um, so educating and then just keeping your eyes out. I've heard stories since I've gotten into this field of people who have, gone the extra mile to help people they thought that were in trouble. I recently had an Uber driver tell me his story where he dropped off a girl and he didn't feel like it was right. So he immediately called the police and ended up that she was being trafficked. So just being
Wow.
aware, calling the police if you see something. And if you're wrong, okay, maybe you're wrong. But if you have that gut feeling, there's probably something wrong. Maybe it's not trafficking, but you kind of know when something's not right. So just keeping your eyes open and, reaching out to them if you can. We always say call the police. We don't ask people to, put their life in danger because it could be that type of situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you able to share a story or two without using names, of course, that captures the impact of Selah Freedom's work and why it matters so much?
Yeah, we've had so many survivors go through our program and have great success. We had one girl, and she I won't use her name on the podcast, but she does public speaking for us now. But she was
Mm,
actually in detox 17 times because of the pain she was feeling while she was being trafficked. She would just constantly OD, and she knew if she could OD, she could get away from her trafficker for a while. So while she was in the detox center, we often go to the detox center, Selah Freedom staff. will go and meet with the girls because sometimes if they're there, they're probably in some sort of trouble.
Yeah.
So we were always there meeting with her. And finally, one day she said, I'm ready. So she came into the program and went through the program and has just done tremendously well. She now, while she was in the program, she got her nail tech license. She went
Wow.
on to work. She got to the point where she was so booked out with appointments, it was 4 weeks out, and that she ended up opening her own business. So now she owns her own business, which
Oh,
ironically is located on the same similar street that she used to be trafficked on, which is
wow.
amazing. And she's been reunited with her children, and she recently got married. So just, and now she serves as a mentor to other women going through the program. So just amazing success. Um, we have another girl who works for us. She was sexually abused as a young girl by her father and her brother, starting at the age of 3. So that's all she knew. And unfortunately, that's a story we hear a lot. They're already vulnerable because of some sort of abuse,
Mhm.
and traffickers can see that. And her trafficker, a lot of traffickers use the grooming approach. I love you, I want to take care of you. So she thought he was her boyfriend. He ended up, taking her under his wings, taking her out of the house. And she thought, well, anything's better than what I'm living through now. Well,
Mhm.
it just got worse. He ended up trafficking her and abusing her. She got away from him, and actually, the next girl that he trafficked, he killed. So,
Oh,
and she's like, that could have been me.
yeah.
So she went through our program, and same thing, got her GED, got her college degree, and now she's running one of our safe houses. And she goes
Wow.
on to speak nationally for us. So it's just, and I'm so inspired by their strength and ability to overcome such horrible
Yes.
challenges, and they just rise above it and keep going.
So courageous and so brave. And
Yes.
also working in this space, I'm sure, is just emotionally heavy and can probably take a toll. So how do you as a leader keep your team motivated and mission focused when, this can be very, very heavy?
Yes, it really can. And we do focus on their mental health. We pay for trauma therapy for our own staff. Sometimes just hearing the stories are so bad what the traffickers do to these women and men that your brain can't even comprehend that humans can be that cruel.
Right.
Because again, it's just not in our world. So mental health counseling for them. We provide a lot of PTO. Anytime they need a mental health day, we are fine with it. Um, One of our core values is balance, making sure that their hours, because unfortunately for nonprofit, not unfortunately, but we often get a lot of passionate people who will work, 60, 80 hours a week without complaining. And we try
Yeah.
very hard to get them not to do that. And we try to talk to them about balance. And
Don't burn out. Yeah.
yes,
We need
very,
you.
yes, exactly. And it's so true. And making them feel like it's okay to take a day off. Like you're supposed to take, days off. So,
Right.
and, almost forcing that on them. Like if a girl works on a Saturday, I'll tell one of my staff members, I'll look at her calendar and say, okay, well, what day are you going to take off to make up
Good.
for that day? Because
I love that.
yeah. So just trying as best as we can, um, to make them feel valued and not go into burnout because it is a tough job. And then we really celebrate the successes with the survivors, whether it's them getting their driver's license, being sober for a year, whatever it is that they're experiencing, we try to push that through staff so they can remember the good parts and what we're doing.
And it sounds like a lot of your survivors get involved with the organization after they've gone through the program.
Yeah, we have, I think, 6 of them working for us right now. And some
Wow.
have worked and gone on to do other things, but they
Yeah.
they are great employees because they're grateful, but and they can relate to the women in a way that no one else can, and they can
Right.
gain their trust. And it serves as the girls can be like, well, if she can do it, I can do it type of
That's right.
situation. Yeah. So very
That's
motivating for them to see someone who's gone through the program and is now successful.
it. As in leading Selah Freedom, I'm curious, from one leader to another, what does a day in the life look like for you?
Oh, it is so different every day.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I no day is the same. I have a we have a clinical director who really leads the programs. She has her degree in social work. My degree is in business, so I
Mm.
tend to focus more on the HR, finance, business side of it, since she's in the day-to-day trenches with the survivors. But like next week, I'll be in court with a survivor. We have several girls testifying against her trafficker. He'll be there. Um, but then the next day I could be doing a fundraiser or staff meeting. But that's what I love about it. It's
Yeah.
never boring. I have never said I'm bored in this job.
No, I feel that it's in a leadership position, you are absolutely right. Every day is different, but it's so fulfilling and what the important work that you're doing is so life-changing. Um, Tell us what's next for Selah Freedom. What exciting initiatives or goals might be on the horizon for you and the organization?
Yeah, really expanding our consulting business. So that is we try to raise a little bit of money through that to help fund the organization by training other organizations around the world to really do what we've done. And we are looking to hopefully open two more safe homes in the Tampa Bay, Sarasota area. It's on the horizons. Just have to raise the money for that.
And you serve you serve throughout the United States, correct? Not just Florida, or is your main focus like where would your main geographic focus be?
It's mainly Florida. We have a small team in Chicago, but we work with a network of about 200 other providers. So we will often get victims from out of state and then vice versa. Someone that's being trafficked in Florida may need to go to a program, elsewhere and get out of Florida away from their trafficker. So
Mm.
that happens very often.
Wow. Do you that I mean it sounds like so Florida and I'm assuming that you're in Florida for a reason. There's probably a lot of trafficking going on there. Do you think that there could be an opportunity to expand beyond that, or do you get calls from other states to say, "Hey, come help us out here too?"
All the time. The
Yeah.
demand is so, yeah. I think right now there's about 1,600 beds for trafficking survivors, and there was somewhere like there was over 50,000 have been identified. So there's just such a shortage of beds right now that it's a need in every community. We're on
Okay.
a 2-month wait right now for our safe house. So we
Wow.
just can't keep up with the demand. So hopefully we'll get some more started and get some more funding for that.
So yeah, I was going to ask what needs to happen. Is it funding to get those to happen quicker?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. So for those who are listening and want to donate, and we'll talk about this next, but that's something that for anyone who wants to get involved, it sounds like donations are a good place to start.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about just you beyond your leadership with Selah Freedom. You're a mom, you're a fiance, you're a traveler, you're a real estate investor. Talk to me about the how you find the balance between your professional purpose and also your personal passions.
That's hard because they're all my passions.
I know, I feel
That's
that.
really
I
hard.
can
And I
hear it
don't,
from you.
and I talk about balance, and I do try very hard to balance and kind of carve out times for the different things as far as the real estate investing and my job. But you never know. When with a job like this, I could meet a new supporter, a new volunteer when I'm out to dinner because people just want to naturally hear what you do. So
Right.
it doesn't really end, which it's fine. I love that part of it. Balance, really, I do try to do my exercise routine every morning, my meditations every morning. If I can get those in, I think I'm pretty good for the day. I find when I start skipping those and jumping on my laptop at 6 a.m. instead of the Peloton bike, those days are not as good for me. But sometimes you're like, oh, I got so much work to do. I got to just jump in and do it. And then by 3 p.m. I'm dragging. I'm like, why did I do that? I should have done. I should have done my
Yes.
meditations and my workout.
It's so true. I find that if I dial back my meditations, it's like the day is not as good as it could be. And same with movement. And even today, earlier today, I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to find the time to work out. And I was like, oh, wait a second. I've got a 90-minute call with my team. I'm just going to walk on Zoom and that's going to be my workout.
Yeah.
And you just make
Yes.
it work.
Yes. No, I agree. As long as you get it in one way or another.
You get it in. Yeah, I love it. So also, let's talk. So you have kids,
Yes.
on how old are your kids?
They're 28 and 22. Two
Wow.
daughters.
Two
Yeah.
daughters. It's amazing.
Yes.
I have three daughters. I'm
Oh.
So, being a girl mom, I'm curious what lessons that your own daughters have taught you about leadership, resilience, or purpose.
Patience sometimes.
You can really
I
tell.
think also not limiting people in any way. Um, one of my daughters was diagnosed with a learning disability. I think in my mind, I always encouraged her, always, encouraged her to go forward, and she's just achieved more than I ever imagined. Um,
Mm,
I think encouragement, and then just really leading with the heart.
yeah.
I think that's, and my staff now is 60 women, so I lead
Wow.
59 women, and I think raising daughters has helped that. Understanding sometimes, especially with like newer staff or staff in their 20s, I can kind of relate on a different level. I've
Mm,
heard, like when my daughters got their first job and hearing their experience of working and being an employee. And it was interesting for me to hear what they were saying and what they were excited about, and what made them feel appreciated. So I copied some of those, ideas from their employers.
wow, that's so great. I love that. And I just got to say how so relate to that because having three kids and mine are a little bit younger, but I feel like I learn from them every single day.
Yes.
But and I also hope and just like you, I just feel like what an example you are to your children of being of service, living a life of purpose, helping change the world. And I hope that's the foundation I'm building for my kids right now,
Oh,
that
I'm sure you are.
they'll be of service in their own way one day. Um,
Yeah,
I love
that's
that. So
good.
when you think about your own legacy, Stacey, both within Selah Freedom and just beyond, what do you hope people most remember about the work that you're doing in the world?
I just hope that I've made a difference in somebody's life. I hope I've grown organizations so they will go on and grow after I'm not the leader anymore. I want to make them stronger. The best thing that happened, so many things have happened to me throughout my career, and I've been so blessed to be able to work in this arena. But about 10 years after I stopped running the food pantry, a lady stopped me in the mall, and I couldn't tell her from Adam. She goes, "You don't know me, but you fed me and my kids when we were living out of our car." And
Wow,
I'll cry just thinking about it. So
that's
having
gonna make
those,
me cry.
I know. And just sometimes the smallest act of kindness. I've had people say, "You just smiled and you made me feel good that day when I, was at my lowest point." And just it doesn't have to be a huge thing that we do to make a difference. You could just call your friend and tell her you're thinking about her today and hoping she has a good day, and that might be what she needs. I think it's just sometimes we overthink it and we think we have to change and solve the world's problems, but it's sometimes just those small acts of kindness, that little things, giving a bag of food can make all the difference in someone's life. So
I think that's such a great message because oftentimes people, and this has been me too, it's like, I don't know where to start. It's like, it seems like there's too much to do, but it is those small, it's as simple as smiling at your grocery store clerk or
yeah.
asking somebody on the elevator, how's your day going? I actually did that the other day. And when I was headed to a TV studio, I go, how's your day going, sir? And he goes, well, I woke up and you did too, so we're doing well. And I was like, what a good point. Like we're both winning the day. But yes, I
Exactly.
love that. It's the little pieces.
It is.
So before we close, there's two things. First, I'd love for you, we ask everyone who joins Purposeful, if you have a favorite quote you would love to share and leave us with.
There's one that's kind of been going around for a while, but I do think about it often, and that is, do something today your future self will thank you for.
I love that quote.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. It is
All
very
right.
common, but
Snaps. Yes.
I think about it often. Those days I don't
Do.
want to work out, or those days I don't want to eat healthy, or those days
Mhm.
I don't want to take time out of my day to help someone else, things like that. And just, yeah.
Do something today your future self will thank you for. Okay, listeners, we're all going to do that today. We're going to do that today. So, Stacey, how can our listeners get involved after hearing such an important message and mission behind Selah Freedom and they want to learn more? What can they do?
Yeah, they can visit our website. First thing I'd say, educate yourself on human trafficking, especially if you're a parent or have nieces or nephews or grandkids. We have free trainings on our website and we do them monthly. And we also have a lot of recorded trainings. So that I would say is the biggest help because that will help us end this epidemic. And then always need volunteers and donations that can all online. You can click to volunteer and you can click to donate.
So important. Okay, so for everyone to learn more about Selah Freedom and get involved, please visit selahfreedom.com. That's SELAH freedom.com. Stacey, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story, your leadership, your heart with us today. Your work at Selah Freedom, it's saving lives and it is inspiring others to lead with purpose. That is exactly what the show is all about. So thank you, Stacey. It's been
Thank
such an
you.
honor.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And for our listeners, if today's episode moved you, please share it with a friend and subscribe to Purposeful wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you next time.